Okay, this is Jodi Mueller. Jodi, we were just at the Tarrant County straw poll.
Yes.
You came in. How'd you enjoy the event?
I liked it. It was way different than the Iowa straw poll.
Okay.
I'm from Iowa, so
This is a little bit, this is not really the straw poll like in Iowa, but the big thing is you
Yeah.
came down here for was to talk with some of the judges.
Yep.
And and because you've been to family court and everything, now what is the most recent update that has happened with you? I know that you've had some horrendous experiences. It's a shame. I mean, those judges should all be prosecuted.
Yeah.
But go ahead and tell me what happened lately.
The latest is, okay, my twin daughters will be aging out in 19 days now.
Okay.
And so I've been filing a motion at least every day for the past 30 days. And I have nothing else to lose.
Right.
I know I'm not going to get custody change or anything, but I might as well be filing things. So right now I'm basically filing motions, Jeff, and objections to judges' motions to dismiss things or continuances. I found objections and answers and resistance to all that. Basically building my court record. Getting ready to file a federal lawsuit as soon as this is over, hopefully. So that's what I'm focusing on now. Right now,
Well, let me ask you a question first. How long has it been since you've seen your children?
1,049 days.
Is that for the two of them, or,
That's just for the two.
and then how about the other ones?
My older two I haven't seen since October 30th, 2013, other than 5 minutes for one girl, 4 hours for the other, my boy.
Your boy. So, and really what happened here is that all four of your children have been kidnapped by your ex-husband.
Yeah.
And
And of course,
because-
the law enforcement don't say it's kidnapping.
right, but you have primary custodialship of them. It wasn't anything joint, but you never withheld them from your ex-husband.
Right.
But he found that by kidnapping the kids, which should be a felony,
Right.
that he could hurt you even further.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
basically like Dr. Craig Childers says, it's a extenuation of domestic abuse. And that's what it is. It's a revenge obsession.
It is a
I
revenge
call it,
obsession.
for
And,
leaving.
and what I saw with the pictures that you had with your children, Jodi, it looked like you had just a wonderful relationship. It looked like there was nothing that indicated any type of fear of you or anything, just loving and everything else. I loved looking through your pictures because I just thought they were neat.
Yeah, we were like best friends, really, because
Yeah.
my ex was virtually not around. Even when we were married, he was a pilot. He's a pilot, so he wasn't around. So we were very, very close, all four of my kids and I.
So, and I will get back to your case in just a moment here. We had that one judge here today that was saying, really, divorce does not destroy families, it reorganizes families. And I think that you
great,
talked with
wasn't
her about that.
Yes.
What did you actually say to her?
Do you want me to say her name?
Don't worry about her name right now, but
Yeah, she says reorganizing families. So, Jeff, like you were talking about no fault, or the difference between no fault and at-fault divorce. And I explained to her that the at-fault divorce would have been helpful in my case, monetarily wise, because my ex took our marital assets and had a separate life that I didn't know about,
right.
and was using our marital assets to set up
An
a
apartment.
different life, an apartment with a flight attendant.
In another
And
city.
didn't know. So when we split assets or whatever, that would have been nice for the judge to recognize that, but it wasn't about the money for me anyway, but that was kind of a bad deal. And no, it doesn't reorganize the family.
And it reorganizes, yeah. I mean, I'm like, that was the craziest thing.
Did I want to stay with him? No. I would have tried to work it out
Yeah,
if we could have.
right.
In my case, there was no working it out.
It was forced
after
divorce
that, but-
imposed upon you, but at the same time, you lost because that's the way that the
Yeah.
system tends to work. The person who wants out can inflict all sorts of damage. And I mean, it was the monetary damage at the beginning. Later on, it became the children,
Right.
the kidnapping of the children.
And
which-
he told me in 2000 when he left, after he abducted the first two, they were 2 and 4, in the middle of my baby shower, my 5-week-old twins were sitting on the floor in car seats. I don't know if it was that day or after I got the children back, about 28 days later. He says, I will make sure one day that all 4 of these children hate your guts and that they turn against you. And I said, yeah, right. Well, he made good on this promise.
So, but you've gone to judges, numerous judges. How many judges have you been to?
This latest would make Judge 11.
Judge 11, and you've presented the case continually.
Yes.
And the thing that I saw here is that all of these judges are talking about the wonderful nature of our family court systems, but your experience would be just the opposite.
No.
I mean, you want to take them all for a federal lawsuit because of
Yes.
the things that they've done. You want to expound on that?
Yeah, well, today I just told one judge, and he got up quite quickly, but I said, you know that none of you judges have immunity if you're violating federal laws. So you may think you have immunity, but you don't. And so he got up pretty abruptly and said, thanks for talking to me.
I would start using the term family shredding. I
Yeah,
think that
family
really
shredding.
works well.
That's right. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So anyway, the latest, Jeff, is I've got a FINA case on appeal. I think we talked about the FINA case. It means families in need of assistance. Now that's in Iowa. It may be called something different in other states. Like right now we're in Texas, so I don't know if they have that. But all you have to prove is there's a breakdown of the relationship between the parent and the child, no matter what gender. I proved that even by the guardian ad litem walking in and said the children adamantly hate the mother, so we need to do a motion to dismiss. The judge, Rachel Seymour, said, well, that's why we're here, because for some reason they adamantly hate the mother, so that's why the mother filed this FINA.
Right.
So she shut her down quickly, and then it came about that the judge said she was concerned about my children, and within weeks, after a second pretrial conference, the same exact things were being brought up by the guardian ad litem. And in a FINA, a guardian ad litem's role is different than in China.
When
She's
China
supposed to be, China's the children in need of assistance.
Okay,
So
and
it's
the
kind of
FINA's the-
behavioral
yeah.
issues, whatever. My children don't have the behavioral issues. They're being coached, manipulated, that kind of thing, and they're targeting me and, acting like they hate me, which I know they don't. But the guardian ad litem's role completely changes. She's supposed to be supporting therapy for these children. Instead, she was adamantly against it. So in the second pretrial conference, I explained to the judge, this was on the phone, that there is no services in the state of Iowa that can help in parental alienation cases. So what we have to do is we go outside of Iowa and get Linda Gottlieb, Childress, Richard Warshak, one of those, to do deprogramming. And then we use their protocol in that state with a forensic psychologist.
Right.
But she didn't let me get any of that out. And she says there's no money in the court budget. Jodi says there's no one educated here in Iowa, so we're going to dismiss this case. So I filed an appeal. It's in the appellate court right now. And my own you get a court-appointed attorney, which I didn't really want an attorney, but I'd never been in juvenile court before. So I went ahead and accepted it. I thought she was really good, but she messed up on the pagination, is that how you say it?
Pagination. Now, was that Karen?
That's Karen Taylor, and she messed up. Now I don't trust most lawyers, so I'm like, did she purposely mess up? Because now it's delaying the process.
Yeah.
And they know my kids are
why is that
aging out.
important? Okay, because
Yeah, my kids are aging out
So
on February
basically,
22nd.
your children turn 18 in February.
Right.
And then at that point, they're considered adults, and as a parent, you lose a lot of the rights that you had before. Was that what I'm hearing you
Yeah,
say?
right. And so not only did she mess up on that, my ex's attorney filed a motion to extend his appellate brief and said, I have to have extra time to do the brief because his attorney, my ex, was going to be in a felony jury trial on the 29th of January, which I've never heard of this. He's not going to be in a felony jury trial. He was in a motion for contempt hearing. It should be a felony jury trial. That'd be great, but
Yeah.
it's not. So he had already filed in district court, track with me here, in district court, the opposing counsel had filed a continuance, and then he went back to the Supreme Court, the appellate court, and said, I need to file an extenuation because we're going to be in that hearing on the 29th. No, you're not. That just got accepted for a continuance. So he's screwing
I hear
around,
what you're saying.
and now his extenuation for the brief, he doesn't have to put the brief in until February 15th. But the continuance on the district court now is February 26th, 4 days after my kids age out. So when I get in there for contempt on February 26th, what is the judge going to do? I'm just fortune telling right now. He's going to say it's a moot point because the kids have aged out.
Yeah. And So as you know, I wrote to Karen Taylor, and she wrote back to me. I wrote on your behalf, and Karen seemed like a wonderful attorney. I mean, but I understand the fact that you've had so many attorneys that have screwed you over that you have to. The question is, can I trust anybody?
Yeah.
I don't think she would be in that category, but I certainly understand. And for people who've not been through it, I don't think that they really understand just how deeply the injustices of this system affect your trust that there's going to be any type of justice. So basically, when was the first time you started going to the judges for your children? Has it been 3 years, 4 years?
The first time was in April of 2015 for my twins.
Okay.
But previous to that,
So basically, it's almost been 4 years, and the judges have been worthless.
Right.
They've done nothing.
Right.
In fact, they've almost seemed to rule contrary to what they should have ruled. You've had other people, like say police officers, that seem to be in on the game as well.
Yep.
You have school directors that have told you, or principals or counselors or something.
principal said that if I go to graduation, I'll be arrested.
Even though that
I don't have a no conduct order.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said I cannot attend parent-teacher conferences unless my ex approves, and I have to ask my ex. Well, that'd be asking an abuser
Yeah.
if I can go to a parent-teacher
I
conference.
don't think people realize how bad this can be. And as you've said, asking an abuser,
Yeah.
it's like asking a criminal to, to vouch for your character or something. I mean, it's just crazy.
Right. And lately, the last time I saw my abuser is December 11th. I went to his door. I went with a retired Air Force major. She probably doesn't care if I put her name, Pam Lill, who had the same situation happen to her where her kids were abducted, put on an American airline plane, taken out of state. She went with me because she went to my hearing that day on December 11th. So we went to my ex's house, and I was going to give the gifts to my children for Christmas ahead of time because I was up there. And so we go to the door, and I said, I'd like to speak to the kids. Well, Pam answered, or he came. She knocked on the door, he answers, she's standing there, and I kind of step out from behind her, and he goes, yeah? And she says, are you, says his name. And then I said, I'd like to see the kids. I just have to talk to him for a minute. And he shouted, no, and slammed the door, and I heard him scream to my kids, that was your mother. And he shut the porch light off like I'm trash. So at least I had a witness. And I said,
Wow.
You see what I mean? I can't even give him gifts. I can't say hello. I can't do anything. And there's nothing I can do about it because in my court order, I have no specific visitation. So mothers in Iowa, this is happening in a lot of places, no offense to fathers, but mothers in Iowa are not granted visitation with their children in a custody modification. Mm-hmm. They're just not. This is from the clerks are telling me, the judges have told me. Law enforcement knows it, especially in rural counties, and that's where I was at the time, in a rural county. 3 clerks walked out and said, you'll never see your kids again because they don't grant visitation to mothers in this county.
Is there some type of financial funding coming from the federal government that is
Yeah.
helping this?
Definitely. It's Title 4D for mine. Mm-hmm. Title 4D incentives.
Because usually when you follow corruption, there's usually money somewhere.
Yeah. And then the Fatherhood Initiative, no offense to fathers out here, but the Fatherhood Initiative that Obama pushed through, I don't think it was intended for this purpose.
The
I think
unintended
it was,
consequences. Yeah, I got you.
I think it was intended for people that weren't being dads or know how to be dads. They could be in the prison system, whatever,
Yeah.
and they've just
Which
ran
is
with
very
it.
interesting because talking about dads in the prison system, they have more rights to the children than you
Absolutely. And the mothers, there's a women's correctional facility in Newton, Iowa. I pulled up their visitation. They get to see their kids all the time.
do. Yeah.
So I've even asked judges in Iowa, what crime can I commit tonight?
To get into jail. So
I
you can
could
see
get
your
into
children.
jail and just put my hands on the glass and just put, to touch their hands.
Yeah.
And of course they think we're crazy, but I'm serious. I would do anything just to breathe the same air,
Yeah.
to be in the same proximity, but you can't.